is probably the only real way in which we can express ourselves and be heard. And the one good thing about it, if any of you are thinking about taking treaty claims, is that you get a report at the end of it. And that report basically affirms what we have been saying for many, many, many years, and what we continue to say. So today I'm just going to talk about, some of the claims that I've been involved in just recently, and that's the whole water claim, the Y2575 claim, and the Y1315 claim. That was originally a PHO and a Māori provider claim that was taken in 2005. I'll talk a bit more about that. But there are two stages to this, and some of you I know who are in the room are actually going to be in the second stage of it, which is coming up, hopefully all being well, this year, which is the health and disability claims, and that will be followed by the mental health and the drug and addiction claims. So that's all in the stage 2 of that particular claim. So I know some of you are involved in that. But there's also the Oranga Tamariki claim that was touched on today. Jean Tahuia has put in a claim through David Stone, her lawyer. And so that's the Y2941 claim, and NUMA is in support. That's the National Urban Māori Authority, of which I chair, is in support of that claim. And then there is the whānau order statement claim, which has been filed. We have had a meeting with the Prime Minister, but I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. And that's taken by the Whānau Order Commissioning Agency, and as was mentioned, the Danes and the Sirs are in the governance group. So, we're being well. So just a little bit of background. The Y2575 claimants are actually in negotiations. Well, actually we know here. But anyway, we are in talks with the Ministry of Health around the findings of the Waitangi Tribunal. And so the findings that we are particularly interested in is a standalone funding authority, and also recompense for the underfunding of Māori PHOs and Māori primary health providers since 2005. Now, Cabinet has met to discuss that, and they won't go anywhere near it until the Simpson report is out, and some of you may be aware of the Simpson report. So 2005 we took the claim, and last year, in 2019, we were actually heard at Tūranga Waimai. So that's a lot of years out of the lives of the people who have been working in this arena for that period of time. But what we got, though, was an interim report which actually has allowed us to go into at least discussions and talks with the DHB. But until the Cabinet decides that it's worthwhile looking into, we probably won't be getting anywhere fast. So I wanted to raise with you the principles, because most of us are aware of the three Ps. And basically the Waitangi Tribunal said, from the health claim, said that they were outdated and needed to be reformed. And so they've come up with these, not just from this claim, but they've pulled them all together from other claims as well. And that is the guarantee of tino rangatiratanga. Now, never have you ever heard it being said that we are guaranteed it. Now, we know that from if you've read the Te Tiriti o Waitangi, it says it there. But in actual fact, in everyday living, it's not real. It's talked about a lot, it's written in paper a lot, but it's not real. So, and then there's the principle of partnership, and you heard some of that from that treaty claim about good faith, mutual respect, etc. But the thing was to be able to, there's an excess there, it's access to rangatiratanga. And then there's the principle of active protection. And we're talking Māori mana mutahaki, we're talking by Māori for Māori. That's what we're talking when we're looking at these things, and that's how we should be thinking in the way in which we address the myriad of issues and challenges before us. And the principle of equity, now that's a big one in health at the moment, because everybody's got to have an equity plan, everybody's got to have a Māori health plan. You know, we've got so many plans, and the one thing that came out of the treaty claim, believe it or not, was that not one DHB in the whole country knew how to implement te treaty or waitangi. And neither did they know how to implement he kura oranga. Do you remember he kura oranga? Those have been in health 100 years. Well, it was the Māori health plan from the time of Tariana Tutia. And in there, it talks about whānau ora. Not one DHB ever implemented it. So that's the kind of stuff that we're up against. So when they talk about equity, they will talk about those things in terms of being universal. So we have to bring it down to say, okay, but we want to participate and do this for ourselves. And then, of course, there is the principle of options, the right to choose our social and cultural pathways and exercise our own authority. Now, I think that I wanted to start with this because as we go through this, there will be some things there that it seems like sometimes we're never going to get out anything. But I think that what we have to start talking is this language, because the tribunal themselves know that it's not being done. It's not being implemented. No one's actually doing anything with it. So Māori experience a wide range of socio-economic inequities. But the colonisation of New Zealand and its ongoing impacts are much a determinant of Māori health outcomes as any other. You heard that today in terms of suicide and all the things that colonisation brings with it, and continues to manifest itself as institutional racism, or as it's been defined, in action in the face of need. So on average, it's no news to you, all these statistics, we have the poorest health of all ethnic groups in Aotearoa. We're more than twice as likely to die from preventable diseases. We're more than twice as likely to face discrimination in health, and Māori are less likely to be referred for diagnostic tests. Now, you might think that we all have the same opportunities in health. Well, that's not so. So, we are dying like flies, and that was said in no uncertain terms this morning. And in my view, nobody cares. And we need to care, because these generations that are coming after us and who are here with us are our future. And that's what we have to do for ourselves, because the challenge has been put out already that, you know, don't wait for somebody to come and a big white horse to come and save us. We have to do that for ourselves. And you know what? Lots and lots of us are doing that all over the place. But look at the statistics. Cardiovascular disease mortality 2.5 times higher. Stroke mortality 2 twice. So we're dying like nobody's business. Heart failure 3 times higher. All types of cancers twice as high. Wahine Māori, we register, believe it or not, 4.5 times more than non-Māori in terms of lung cancer, and yet our mortality rate is 5 times that. So, we are actually in a situation where it calls for change. And if we don't make the change, it isn't ever going to happen. And so you can see here for our men, it's 3 times. So, in the Hauora report, the Crown's failure to abide by its treaty obligations and ensure that its agents and the health sector as a whole are doing the same has contributed to the dire state of Māori health outcomes. It cannot continue to evade its obligations, and health inequities experienced by Māori compel an urgent and thorough intervention. Urgent and thorough intervention. But what's changed?
Nothing.
So I'm going to talk a little bit now about the Oranga Tamariki inquiry, because this has been, it's a very important inquiry for us, because basically our tamariki have been just taken from the breasts of our mothers for over 30 years. They've just been swiped off. And for me, the most underpinning thing with regard to all of that, the underpinning thing is we have authorities who believe we do not deserve to have children. That we do not deserve to be mothers. And certainly if you're a young mother, you do not deserve to be a young mother. And so this has gone on for years. Absolutely years. So, these are the statistics for Oranga Tamariki. Some of you are obviously very familiar with it. Some of you have lived experience of these things. So it's over just under 6,500 babies and children in care and protection of OT. Of that, 68% have been identified as being Māori or Pacific. In 2014, 9% of the children and young people were returned to home placements. And in 2018, that dropped. Now, you think about that. If it's 100% of children who have been uplifted, and only 9% or less than 9% actually go home to their mother and father from whom they were uplifted, what is that doing to the traumatic, intergenerational experiences that our people have to deal with on a constant basis? And then, from Jean Tapuya's affidavit I took this from, it said of the 821 children removed from their parents within 3 months of birth between 2016 and 18, approximately 56 of those were Māori. And that's despite the fact that our birth rates were only approximately 22%. So there is this huge focus on removing children from us. Why? Why do you think that is? It's because we kill them. And you will hear that. I heard the Minister for Health say this. We don't want one more child to die. She said this at Waitangi to the iwi leaders at Waitangi. And then she started to name these babies, and they were all Māori babies. No one has even thought that, this is not a Māori problem. This is a societal problem. It's from society that these things come. And yet, there she is, naming all the Māori babies, and Pākehā babies die just as much as me. And certainly, Moana Jackson, if he's here, I'm sure, would have shared that with everybody. So the issues that we are grappling with and we're dealing with are huge amongst ourselves, but we need to mobilise. We cannot sit back and hope someone else is going to do it. We have to think about what is best for our people, our children, and our society as Māori. Those ex parte orders, well, in actual fact, from my perspective, the OT, the Oranga Tamariki Act, is one of the most racist, one of the most violent and cruel pieces of legislation that there is in this country. Because they take babies away and they don't give them back. But there's no healing for those families. There's no whakakaha ia rātou, ngā whānau katoa. There's none of that. There's no supporting.